And we're back with another edition of In the Saddle, where we feature Drover sports. It's the end of February, and that means the Drover basketball season is coming to a close. While it may not be the best season for the university, assistant men's basketball coach Vinson Metcalf says they have a great team with a lot of potential for future success. He's with us today to talk about his players and how they work together. This is In the Saddle.
Welcome to this week's edition of In the Saddle with Drover Sports. We're going to wrap up the basketball season as we talk to men's assistant coach Vinson Metcalf and talk about what's on schedule for this week. We've got a lot of baseball and softball to talk about as well on this week's program. But let's welcome Coach Metcalf to the program. And Coach, welcome out and talking a little bit about Drover basketball.
Thanks for having me, George.
You've been 11 years now with Coach McPherson.
Yes. What
do you like about him and specifically to stay around here for so long?
Well, Coach McPherson and I has become real good friends. I've always called him a mentor. He's really groomed me into the person that I really am, on and off the basketball floor. We really like hanging out with each other and everything, and he's like a big brother to me.
What's your primary responsibility with the team?
Well, basically we both do a lot of coaching, and that's what I appreciate Coach McPherson the most, because I've been around other assistant coaches that don't get a chance to do hands-on coaching with their team, and Coach McPherson allows me to get out and coach, and I really appreciate that. So I do some on-the-floor coaching and recruiting.
And there's been a lot of opportunity to coach this year. As we know, a very inexperienced squad, only one senior on the group. So hopefully a lot of these guys are going to be coming back, and they're really performing well under your guidance.
The last few weeks, they've been playing, about as well as we would like them to play. The inexperience comes into play in certain parts of the game that allow them not to be on the winning side of the basketball game, but they're starting to play hard. They've always played together. Our biggest challenge this year was to get them to play hard, and once we got them to play hard, they will realize that they will be in games at the end. We just got to continue to play well and play together, and we'll be out on the winning side.
Did they expect the competition to be this tough in the Student Athletic Conference?
I think most of them didn't, and we tried to tell them. But the best experience is you got to get out there and get it done. You have to play in this league in order to realize how tough it is in this league. The Student Athletic Conference is the toughest league in the country, and we had some guys that came from winning programs, tough programs, and but it's unlike the Student Athletic Conference. So you have to throw them in the fire. And hopefully they survive and put in some work this off season and come back ready to play.
Let's talk about your recruiting a little bit and maybe your process and how you go looking for players that you'd like to bring to USAO.
Well, I've been out since the 1st of October. There's a junior college jamboree that is held in the state of Texas. They invite 40 teams, 40 or more teams, and you go down and evaluate those kids and kind of get your list and stuff together. There are also coaches that call and say that I have a kid available, or the kid may not be able to make it at another school that's recruiting them, and they'll call and say, I think you need to get on this kid because I think he's going to be around and he'll be available after the season, and maybe we could get him in for a visit and everything like that. So.
When does the signing period get going? And I know you have players come in every now and then.
In the IA, you can sign a kid at any time. The Division I schools and Division II schools have those restrictions. But NAIA, you can sign a kid at any time. But right now, and right now, there's a lot of kids that are thinking that they are Division I caliber players. And they may be Division I caliber players, but for whatever reason, academics comes into play. You have to graduate in order to go to Division I, and some kids come up short, and then that's where the NAIA schools step in, because now the kid realizes that they can't play on another level, and they have to come back down to our level. So,
as far as some of the individual players, who's really stepped up in your mind this year to help out the team?
Well, I mean, we have several. Fred Savoy is just our energy. He's our energy, and when Fred comes to play, I think everybody piggybacks off Fred and tries to play well and try to match his intensity. Of course, he's probably not averaging a double-double, but he's close to it.
Had one the other night against OCU.
In points and rebounds. And Anthony Turner has really stepped up. We got to get Anthony to play with a little bit more intensity defensively, but everything else, we count on him getting 10 rebounds a game. And when he doesn't have close to 10, I'll tell him, Coach McPherson will tell him at halftime that you only have 3, you only have 4. And he knows that we need for him to rebound the basketball in order to give us a chance. So, and his point production has been up because he has rebound.
Right, and has having a double-double like 4 out of the last 5 games, so he's really done well. Your point guard, Mike Randall, just a freshman, I think he's doing pretty well, and that will only help him in the future.
Well, back to your question about some of the kids' expectations of the Sooner Athletic Conference. I can recall having a conversation with Mike Randall when he first got here, and I could tell in Mike's demeanor and some of the things that he said that he thought it was going to be easy. And we kid about it right now, and he'll tell me, Coach, it's not easy. It's not easy. And if he knows that, then I think Mike Randall is going to do what has to be done in the off season. He's got to get a little stronger. He's got to get a little bit more aggressive with the basketball and running the team, and he's got to get a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end and making baskets. So we're going to work this off season, and he's going to come through.
And your shooting guard, Thomas Peters, has developed pretty good touch over the last half of the season. His three-point shot's really coming on.
Thomas is doing exactly what we thought he could do, or what we brought him in here to do, was to make baskets for us. He tries to create on his own a little bit too much, but I think that's because of our lack of inside presence. I think if we can go find an inside person, a guy that can post up real well and score on the block, I think Thomas will get a lot more open shots to do what he's been doing the last few games, and that's making shots and not have to create his own shots. So that's my focus as far as recruiting, is to go find a couple of big kids to help the perimeter guys out.
And talk a little bit about your lone senior, Nafali Barrete. He'll be playing his final home game Saturday against OBU.
Yes, Nafali came here, played a semester last year, and has been really working hard this year. He's sort of our leader. He's our only senior. So we have looked to him to try to help with the younger kids on and off the floor, and I think he's done a tremendous job at that. And we're going to celebrate, his last final game this Saturday against OBU.
Very good. Coach, thanks for coming out and joining us on In the Saddle, and we'll look forward to seeing the Drovers in action. They'll be at St. Gregory's in Shawnee on Thursday, and then Saturday night against Oklahoma Baptist. Games at 6 and 8 for senior night. That'll wrap up the season for the USAO basketball programs. Softball and baseball both on the road this weekend. The softball team will be at Bacone University on Friday, and then both the softball team and baseball teams going to Lubbock Christian for their Sooner Athletic Conference openers. And you can go to the USAO website to get information on how to see those games actually over the web. Thanks for joining us for this edition of In the Saddle with Drover Sports.
Saddle is brought to you by USAO and Cool 105.5 FM. You can hear it on air on 105.5 FM at 10:30 each Thursday. Watch it 5 times a day on local channel 18, or see it anytime on USAO's website, www.usao.edu/sports. And make sure to tune in next week on In the Saddle when we finish wrapping up Drover basketball.